Give me who you are. Tell me join Ufala. Hii idea iwezi. Yeah, that's what I want. Usikwe tu. Yeah. No. You know, so when you get a team that is at ile run ilikuwa gani?
Tukumbushe tena.
Pentatonic, and then they're taking too long. You need 4 to 5 hours or more to get one song completely done. For me, singing, I just need 15 seconds of you to sing. I'm done. I've made my decision.
Watumishi podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Watumishi podcast. Our conversations are being sponsored by Sauti Gang Studios located in Karen Village along Ngong Road. So in case you have any nature of conversation, you have a guest that you wish to host, or you just want to just have a conversation or a private space so you can be able to do even your creative niche, you're welcome to Sauti Gang Studios. Our numbers are attached below so you can be able to get in contact, book a session where you can be able to run whatever you intend to run. And remember, this is the show where conversation meets purpose and every note tells a story. I'm your host with the most. You can call me Garvillo. Muziq is my name. Each episode I sit down with incredible guests across the music and the creative space, artists, producers, engineers, worship leaders, creatives, to just uncover the heart behind the sound. Whether you are here for inspiration, insight, or just for the love of good music, this is your space. We talk about the journey, we talk about the challenges, we talk about the calling, and how music is able to move lives and also shape souls. So wherever you're listening us from, thank you for being part of our journey. And today, let's dive into today's episode. So for today's guest, our guest is the founder and the president of Artville Studios. He's a music and creative director. He's a recording producer. He's an event programmer. He's a mixing engineer. He's a vocal director. He's a musical coach and composer. And also he's a music arranger. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the one and only Joe Masterkeyz. Joe, welcome to the pod.
Thank you very much. I was wondering whose profile you're reading.
That's all your profile, and maybe just comma. I am to add some few more. Yeah.
It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Indeed, amazing. You're also humbled and that you've graced our podcast today. Maybe today we just want to get a few nuggets and have a conversation regarding your growth, how you came about, and basically always starts from deep down, from the roots of birth, growth, until to where you're able to establish your name in the different niches that you practice. So maybe we just want to get in and understand where was Joe born from.
Yeah. You're going that far. I was born in Nairobi, Pumwani Hospital, like many of us. You know. And pretty much of my life has been in Nairobi. You know, I'm half caste Luo. So you know, basically that I come from a family of 4, just one sister. Basically, you know, I grew up in when I realized myself, I think I was in Riruta. So my life, my childhood life has pretty much been around Dagoretti. Bigger chunk of Dagoretti. Then came to Ngong at some time, and then from there I moved out. So pretty much,
Okay. Maybe the schools you studied in?
I cannot remember the kindergarten very well, but there's a school in Riruta called Kinyanjui Road Primary. That's where I went to school. After that, I went to Aquinas High School in Buru. So my turning point was Aquinas High School, and then after that, went to Moi University and studied business. And then found my way into the music world.
Yes. Oh, amazing. I'm also an alumni of Moi University.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I also did business. I did business management.
Oh, wonderful.
Procurement.
It is very sad that we didn't meet in school. I'm sure we should have met on those corridors.
Yeah. Wow. So basically, what did you study specific in business? Is it business, economics, business?
I did BBM. Yeah.
Business
management. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe to just understand your structure, is there anybody within your family who had the musical genes, or Joe is the starter of all this?
That's an interesting question. I think I'm from a very musical family. Even though in terms of like taking it career-wise, maybe not.
Okay.
But my dad, so I'm a PK. I'm the son of a pastor. Well, my dad passed away, so was.
Yeah.
But my dad used to play the accordion. Do you know what an accordion is? Yeah, you do?
Yeah, you do.
Wewe ni umezeeka. Gen Zs will not know what an accordion is. Yeah, so he used to play an accordion in church as he sang and preached. And then my mom was in the choir, you know. And my sister eventually joined the choir. And my journey to music, I think I was in class 5. I was trained by my cousin. So that's why I'm saying I'm from a very musical family. So my cousin was in university, KU at that time, called Joshua. He's a good friend of mine. You can be family and then you can be friends. We are good friends, So he really introduced me into keyboard. And his mom was a music teacher, Buruburu Girls, you know. So music has been all over us, So that's really how I started. I learned to play the keyboard when I was in class 5. And then in kitambo. And pretty much, you know, did BBM and then just went into music after that. So yeah.
Okay. Still on your foundation, maybe I wish to know which kind of music you listened to while growing up.
So when I grew up, we used to have these VHF tapes. Zinaingia ndani afu inaeka. It reminded me to the kitambo. So my dad had bought a lot of that stuff. We had the Potter's House Masquire. I don't know what you call them. They were not DVDs. I don't know what they were.
Diskettes. Were they diskettes? Not diskettes.
No, they were really big.
They were like the tape ones.
The big fat one inaingia ndani alafu inaanza kuzunguka.
Miaka imeenda.
Hizo. So my dad had the Potter's House Masquire, he had the Ron Kenoli one, a couple of albums from Ron Kenoli. We had Don Moen. Who else? And Lenny LeBlanc, I remember. Those were the 4 main VHF. I remember because man called VHF. I don't know what they were called. They were big.
Yeah, they were big.
Yeah. So those, my dad owned this in the house. So, you know, he loved to listen to that kind of music. So that's what I grew up listening to by default. And it got indoctrinated into my system. Yeah. So I really have listened to a lot of Western music. A lot. You know, that's what I grew up with. Hosanna. Hosanna something.
A group.
Yeah, you know, a lot of in fact, Integrity Music is the word I want to use. The Integrity record label had all these artists. I used to listen to a lot of that because my dad loved it. That really is what formed my mind when it comes to music. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
It means then your vocabulary is very rich because those guys
they were not joking around.
Yeah,
they were serious.
Yeah, they were already serious.
Yeah.
Maybe that interests me too. How many instruments do you play?
Just two. I became lazy in that part. You know, bass ilikataa kuingia kwa mkono na guitar zilikataa. I just became lazy. I think I started with drums. then went into keys and I basically sat there. I don't flute. I did flute kidogo, but yeah, flute. I can't say I'm a professional flute player. No, that is not true at all. Drums, I played a lot. In church, I played drums a lot. And then I transitioned into keyboard, and then I just sat there.
Yeah, that is where you felt, indeed, this is the place.
Yeah.
Talking about keyboard, I know you've interacted with so many gears of keyboards, or very many, do I call them companies or labels, or do I call them? Which labels do they stand out for you in terms of your playing? The ones that you feel, easy, a bit solid.
I think I can give my... it's a wide question. I've gone through phases. Yeah. So when I started paying attention, when I was young, PSR was the only thing we all saw everywhere. But when the first time I got my hand on a motif, I was like, hey, in keyboard gani. So of course, because of using it for so long, it grew in me. So I really love motif. I think for any given day, you give me a new an unused motif on a stage. Okay, what I mean is it doesn't have my presets, the sounds I use. Just give me 40 seconds. Stall for 40 seconds, I'll get ready, because I've used it for so long. So I know where to go.
Muscle memory should be
stall for 40 seconds. I'll get sounds I need. I've used it for so long. So yeah, motifs. And this is from motif. Then we went to the motif X. We went to the motif E series, then X series, then S series, then we went to E X. No, we went to E, then S, then X. Yes. I'm not a fan of montage, so let's leave montage out of this conversation. Yeah, but motifs, that's one my go-to keyboards. I personally feel they are the best boards ever made in terms of just tactile feel and usability. Then from there, I played around. Let me not mention brands that I don't like in case I get in trouble. That's personal preference. Anyway, for me, it's motif, then Roland. Roland keyboards are they are Roland. They are just an animal on their own. And I think many records that we listen to, all of them have Rolands in there. All. So Rolands grew on me as well as a second board. And then I landed on Node, and then that's how I transitioned from motif to Node. Yeah, I think I just fell in love with how its usability is. Everything is on the surface. There's no menu diving. And when you're performing, that's the last thing you want is to menu dive. Yeah,
minimal time. I want to get to where I want.
The thing is just, it's a good stage piano, so I loved it a lot. And then I settled there. So those, and then Hammond. How can I not talk about the Hammond? So Hammond, I got an experience at church. So I used to serve at a church called Faith Evangelistic Ministries. It's right here in Karen. Reverend Rosarimo. Kotu hapo on that Langata Road.
Your Langata Road, stretch from the hub, from the roundabout straight.
Yes, it's a very big church. You can't miss it on your massive church.
On my right.
So I used to serve there, and then the pastor bought the Hammond. So the first time I'm sitting on top of one, my goodness, that keyboard that's not even like, I don't know what to call it. That machine is good. So I fell in love with the Hammond as an organ. In fact, after hapo nilishindwa kucheza zingine. Organs just are not sounding as good.
As good as it sounds there.
So those are primary. If you look at my rig, those are my primary keyboards. I have the Node, I have the Roland, and I have the Hammond. So those are the keyboards I really use most of the time. If I don't have the Node, then motif will be my next.
It has to be there. Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
And precisely now, how many years in the professional beat? Which year did you decide, like, hey, I'm Joe now, I want to get into this thing? in a very serious beat. Ile mambo ya class 5 mchezo nimeachana nayo.
I don't think there is that would be I don't think there is that moment that I said, now let me, no, you just find yourself, you know, you just find yourself. Yeah. It's like you stumble into stuff. Yeah. So I've always had the desire. So when I was young, and because of the influence of music I was listening to, remember? So when I'm growing up, my desire is to play for these big guys. You know, so I'm anticipating one day I'll MD for Kirk Franklin, one day I'll MD for Donny McClurkin. That was me in my so now I started preparing as if I'm preparing for them. Wow. That's really what changed my life. So because I could not relate at that time with what was happening locally in terms of music, I felt people are not working hard. I'm at the music. My orientation was different. So I was like, this music is just, it's not giving me the vibe I want. Yeah. So I was preparing to MD for these guys. That was really my focus.
That was your level of preparation.
That was what I was preparing for. So how I think that is what made me stumble into, you know, I think one of the biggest gigs that really gave me mileage was Groove Awards 2016. In terms of mileage, that kind of thing. I think that was it. Before that, I think I did a flavor. I wasn't doing so much. Yeah. I was just once in a while here and there. But I think after Groove is when everything just went completely. I became started being busy. Yeah. So so that was really my preparation. I studied these guys. I contacted those I could. I studied them. I listened to their advice. We emailed. You know those days hakuna Instagram.
Yeah, true.
Hakuna what? This
Nandaa is not that active by then. It was a matter of straight.
So leave alone Groove Awards. I'm now talking 2007, 8, 9. That's what I'm talking when I start preparing. Hata YouTube ndo imezaliwa. So literally hata uwajui, you have to find them. So I used to watch. Let me tell you, this is actually important. You brought me peleka mbali. So I used to watch this these VHFs, these ones, and I'm like, my goodness, these people sound so good. And I'm like, I want to know who's playing. So how do I find out? I wait until the credits.
The credits.
Yes, and then I pause who's on keyboards. I'll write those names down. Now there is no YouTube, but there's Google. You type in the Google. You know, I type their name onto Google. I search. You know, some of them don't have much online. Others you'll find them somewhere. You click, get an email. Yahoo, those were Yahoo days. You get the email. I go to my Yahoo, I email them. Hi, I'm Joe from this place. That's really how so some of them responded, some of them never. I remember one of the key person I was following at that time was called Kevin Bond. Kevin Bond was at that time Potter's House music director, or he was playing there. I don't know whether he's an MD or not. But I know he was very key because he was directing the choir most of the time. That's how I got his name. You remember the Potter's House Mass Choir is in the house?
Yeah, true.
I saw his name there. Went to look for this guy. Later on to find out he's the one who MD'd Marvin Sapp, he MD'd Katka, he MD'd some phenomenal artists in you. At that time I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I sent him an email with questions. He never responded. I think by the time I was done, I had sent him like 8 to 10 emails. By the time he's responding the 10th one, I was going. I was desperate. It's not desperate. I was shooting, you know. I was shooting. I was like, I'm not gonna stop shooting until you respond.
True.
So he responded, and he gave me one of the best feedbacks. Not feedback, but advice I ever needed at that time. Okay, so coming YouTube into 20, I think YouTube is 2006-7 if I'm not wrong. if I'm not wrong. That's where this thing comes
in.
Yeah.
Inaanza kujulikana.
Yeah, imeanza sasa kukua a thing.
Yeah.
Even before they were bought by Google, yeah. And I stumble upon, so some churches are trying. So this particular church is called Church of God in Christ, Kojic. I'm forgetting from where. I think it's LA, if I'm not wrong. Man, Kojic are doing some crazy music. So I'm like, who are these guys? I find the keyboard player is called Jason White. You might know Jason White now, but you don't know he's a great keyboard player. Jason White right now is the choir director of Kanye's Sunday. You see that guy? That guy is a bad keyboard player. Wow. Let it not deceive you. I don't even know when he transitioned into that. At that time, he's actually the people who have like they've contributed greatly to the sound that they call the what do they call it? There's a vibe of playing. He's among the people who influence that in US. Like, he's such a name.
Yeah.
He is such a name. You know, how he became this, you know, I think how he transitioned, that many people don't know that other side of him. So when I got a hold of him and heard how he was playing, I was like, wow. So I reached out, I found he had done a DVD, and there was a group called Hear and Play. Now, reached out to them, was like, I need this DVD. It's a 4.5 hour DVD. DVD. Sio nini ile inaingia hivi that one. No, sorry. No, it was the CD version. Yeah, not the VHS, the CD version. Yeah. So 4.5 hours. So I bought it.
Interest is there.
My goodness.
Because buying it means passion is killing you.
Remember,
I need to know this.
We don't even know how to ship things. You know, we are like, so how will this thing get to me?
True.
It's a difficult time at that time. But luckily I had a friend who, you know, I think the dad was bringing things a lot from US, so I talked to him. I was like, just buy this for me, I'll give you the cash, because I don't know how to buy.
Yeah, true.
I don't have a card. I don't even know how you buy.
Sio kama saizi.
Sahi ni rahisi.
Yeah, true.
So he bought and the thing shipped, I think, for 3 months. Unajua inakuja kawaida. Shipped for 3 months, and then it was brought to me. You know, that's really, so I was really passionate about that. And that fueled my, I was focused. I wanted to MD these guys. So I think now that stumbles me upon every time. I think the first time I go to work with an artist. Now who was my first?
Hey, you've worked with so many.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the first. I can't remember who was my first, but I think that kind of preparation, it showed.
Yeah.
Because from there, I really don't know what happened next. It's just the next phone call, after the next phone call, and they never stopped coming. So it's not like I prepared for it. I just, next call, and you keep,
and you keep moving.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Hey, such a great story. I believe someone is also getting, the viewer is also getting, it's a matter of the process,
sure,
the passion that drove to all these things, so that when you see him today, you're like, jua story, imetoka wapi? The things he has gone through to get to where we are. So maybe, how do you stay updated in the latest trends and techniques in the music industry or in the music scene? What always keeps you updated, or what do you do to always stay in the...
I would like to you to tell you that there's something I'm doing about that, yeah? I think just maybe some of the privileges that I will get being at the space I'm in is information somehow gets to me. I don't really look for it too much, yeah? Because, I mean, by the time I'm checking into 2011 and I have, I start Artville Studios, and then, you know, I have those people who work there and stuff like that. So now, it's like that work is a bit delegated, you know. So information, I wouldn't say that there's much I do right now. I think Of course, at the top of my head, definitely I keep checking what's going on. I get curious. How do you do this thing better? Those ones are always there, but I'm not digging too much. Yeah. So I don't know how best to answer that question. I'm not doing so much about keeping it, but the information gets to me. It's like, Joe, you're doing this. Can you try this? Go, this is better. Somehow they get to you. Or someone says like, I saw you doing this. Have you seen this video? And then they send me something and it solves a problem I was trying to do, especially with my setup. Because my setup is... I might be wrong, but arguably, I think I'm the first to do that kind of setup of keyboards around. So what I need them to do, there's no one to ask. Because no one has done it. So everyone is waiting for me to tell them what I'm doing. And I also don't know certain things. So I think when I stumble with people, on conversations with people, and they're like, I saw you're doing this. Have you watched this? And then they don't know they've given me an answer of something I was looking for. So information gets to me. And then, of course, I always try to keep myself updated
with what is coming out
based on what I'm trying to, not what is coming out, based on what I'm trying to achieve.
Okay.
For instance, I'll give you an example. I was trying for the past 5 or so years, I was trying to find a way for my keyboards to talk to one another with the press of one button, so that I don't have to remember the presets on every keyboard. So now all I need to do is immediately I trigger my tracks, all the patches in the keyboard change to this particular song. So now who do I go to? No one, because no one is doing that here. But there's not enough information online. Right? So now the more I was trying to do this, and then conversation would happen. It's like, hey, Joe, I've seen this Joe nafanya nini. Hey, I've seen someone is using Ableton like this. Ableton is
the software
we use, And the video they send me, thinking they're helping me about another matter, brings a conversation that is solving a portion of, and then I get to learn. And then it opens another world on its own. Every hole is like a rabbit hole. So immediately that information gives me a website and this, and I keep learning. Pretty much that's been how. So my keeping up has always been driven by a solution I'm trying to find. Even for the studio, it has always been, what is the pain point of artists? And now me asking that question is making me interact with people who have nuggets of wisdom about what they think, and what they think takes me to a site to read about. And so that's how I build my, And
then you get what they need.
Exactly.
Now give them the solution.
Exactly. So that's really how I've approached it. I wouldn't tell you that I sit down and I'm like, okay, what are the latest interfaces? Conversation has always been, I'm trying to record more than 32 people. What interface exists? You understand? It's always from a problem perspective.
True.
Always. That's how I've always been learning what I know. Yeah.
It's quite a unique way of thinking.
Because I believe in a problem solving model. Not just to know for the sake of knowing, right? So microphone. The first question would be like, no, I'm trying to record something in a noisy place. What do I need to... You see that thinking. So now I will go not look for a microphone, but to look for a microphone that has the least interferences as possible. That's how my Nini has always been.
Amazing indeed to just get to listen to the points. I think that point of thinking is very... you've challenged me to think the other way around in terms of when solving problems. So now we want to talk about Artville Studio. What was the inspiration behind Artville Studio? I believe you've basically talked about it. And which year did it start?
Right. I like your questions. You know the way people just believe. So I said, no, this, like I said, everything in my life has been almost an element of stumbling into. Artville has an interesting story. So we, in 2011, I'm done with campus. tunaona mkihesabu age yangu sasa. I'm done with campus and then I'm looking for a job, right? I was really looking for a job. I'm looking for a job in the office. I did BBM, so I'm looking for a corporate job. Literally nilimaliza up hill, as in nili drop CV yangu kila mahali. So anyway, an organization, a Korean organization was looking for people to do a musical program. It's a Christian organization. So someone recommends my name. All right. So I received this call. I go there. I didn't fully understand. That's a long story. I'm trying to cut it. But I didn't fully understand what they were. Are you a church? What are you? But anyway, I got a job with them. They gave me a job to direct music. Now, in my life, me, I'm like, so how is this an 8 to 5? Because music for me was a hobby, although I was serious about it, but I was serious about it in terms of when I'm ready, I'll play for those guys. I'm not thinking at his career. No. Me, I just want to play for them and feel good. So I get this job. And JD Ninini, you just have to train people for 3 months. We're doing a tour in Asia. It's my first time to leave the country. Nah, anyway. Story for another day. But so that's what I did. We worked, I think Mike Manoa. We used to be with Mike Manoa there. I think Levi, I don't know whether you know Levi. Levi was also a keyboard player. So we used to be there together. We did practice for 3 months and we went to Asia for a tour. A 3-month tour. Let me condense this story. It can be very long. Let me condense it. I think Artville Studios, or rather being in the production space, was never anything close to what was in my head. Far from it. Far from it. When I was in high school, I wanted to pursue aviation. And then, well, hizo siku ni straight A pekee ili kuingiza kwa hizo na sikupata straight A. So the chance of doing that in campus was shattered there. And then I changed to what was my number 2 option? Architecture. Architecture.
The bars were high.
So I was either doing again to become a pilot or do architecture. But all this was straight A's because the demand in campus was really high.
It was high, true.
So since I didn't get, even the bridging is just so much, so I switched. I was like, so what else do I want to do? Nothing. So it's like, I'll do business management. That's what I went and do in campus. There was nowhere in my radar about this studio. So I don't know the nature of your podcast, but I'm just, I don't know the nature of, but the production space was completely God-driven. I had nothing to do with it. I had never been to a studio, right? But just the long story short is, God pushed me into it. I didn't start it. He started it.
Oh, amazing.
I'm trying to condense it because when I was here, I'm done in camp. I'm done with high school as I'm waiting to transition to campus. A pastor comes from Uganda. He's trying to set up a ministry here. I do not know where my name always pops up. People are like, there's a guy here I know from Kawangware, Renuta. Nacheza poa. Can be available. So he asked me, I'm like, well, I'm in my dad's church. So I can't join your church. Akasema, no, it's okay. We do Sunday afternoons. Cool. I'm free. Now what am I doing? So I started serving with him in a Nairobi cinema. 2 months in, he gives me a proposal. He's like, I've been looking at you and I've been listening to your musical brain. I think you have something to offer. I'm like, thank you. He's like, I have a proposal for you. I want to rent for you a 2-bedroom house. I'm living with my parents right now. I have to bring this point. I want to rent for you a 2-bedroom house. We convert one into a studio. I will fully furnish it. You will live there. We make music. and I'll support you, I think, for rent for a year until things pick up, and then
you can,
quite an offer.
Yeah.
But I was afraid. I was like, Uganda. And I'm in my mind, I'm not even thinking moving out. I'm thinking income, yeah. But I've never been to a studio, so I'm like, studio thing. How, so I'm like, let's do this church thing first with you. Let me think about it. And he was serious. He even showed me the house in Imara. It's like, this is a house. He was serious. He was very serious.
Ngoja tu useme yes.
Ni mimi na equipment zingie pap tuanze studio. Niko yeah, so I nikaogopa. Nikasema achana na hiyo story. Hiyo ikaisha hapo. Now fast forward. Nimepata hii job na these Koreans and we are touring. It's the weirdest job ever for me to get, because I'm like, music director, what papers am I? There's no paper for me to give. All my papers are business, right? So anyway, but I'm the one out of, I think they auditioned 22 keyboard players. They chose me, whatever reason. But God had his plan. Yeah, so we toured to Asia. I go there. We toured, I think, for 3 months. A lot of venues, like 40-something venues. It was a really tight one. Now, when we are leaving, the director, so the international director who was hosting us there, he was having a one-on-one with we were 10 people. So when he sits with me, we are at the airport about to fly back, 2 hours to our flight coming back. He sits with all of us one by one. So with me, this is what he does. He tells me, you have an interesting gift and I think you need to tap it. I think you're not serious about it. Reached out into his bag and gave me a laptop, a MacBook. I was like, you have 90 days. I need you to figure out how to read music, how to arrange a band better, how to be I need you to figure out your knowledge about this music. I need you to finish every YouTube video that exists about keyboard. You have 90 days or I'll fire you. Not to employed, eh?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is a threat. My job is on the line. And the task is to do what I love to do. This is strange, eh? But what I'm not telling you here is when we're there, for the very first time in my life, I enter a professional studio. I need you to understand I'm in Asia. This is a first world country.
Yeah.
When I'm talking about professional studio, you understand what I mean. All right? Iko CBD underground. It's almost 3,000 square feet. It's big. Right? I enter that place. I was like, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, this place is beautiful. These things you watch on TV, yeah? So this is my first time to enter to enter a studio. All the glasses and the big grand pianos. I had forgotten about that completely. You see, I've moved on. This is like 2 years later. I've moved on. So we went there, and then this studio, they give us a free recording just to experience it. So we sat in there, played and Nini and did all that, and we were given the files. So remember now, fast forward to the airport. Now these files are being given. I'm like, go figure this thing out. So now my image about studio is formed there subconsciously. Put that information on the side subconsciously. I come back and there's something I'm missing here. Kuna story hapa katikati. Something I'm forgetting. I'll remember. Okay. So I come back. Life moves on. 1 year later, I think 1 or 2, I'm not, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2 years later. We are doing a gig at Limuru, a conference, and then there's someone who's visiting from UK, so we happen to be in the same conference center. Yeah, amekuja holiday as we are doing this conference with a group called Some Africa. Yeah. So now during lunch, because you are sharing the lunch dining areas, he comes and sits. So he kind of came and peeped during the conference and saw us doing sound and singing and doing all that. So he came and joined us during lunch. kaka kwa hiyo meza yetu. Like, "Hi guys, how are you? My name is so and so. I'm from this place. I just came to visit, but I saw you guys doing this." So we begin to take a conversation. We were many. Me and remember we were a band when we traveled, so all of us, 4 or 5 of us. 5. Now, long story short, in that conversation is at the end of this eating, he comes to me and then he asks me an interesting question. He asks me, so after our conversations, he came and asked me, "Have you ever thought of being a producer?" Told him no. I was like, you need to think about that. I really think you. So in the context of what I'm saying, this was the 3rd time someone I do not know and a foreigner tells me this. I do not know the person and they are foreigners.
But they see it in you.
But they are seeing something like, so at that time I was like, why is this an interest? So it sparked a thought. I was like, "Aye." So I was like, okay, just go think about it. Let's talk tomorrow during lunch. Fine. I went, met during lunch again, had conversations, and then we were done. Then he's like, "Did you think about what I asked you yesterday?" You know, at that time I'm like, what do I stand to lose anyway? So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I can try that thing. I'm like, "You're sure?" Like, yeah. We were there for 3 weeks. This guy, I met him on the second or third or fourth day of the first week. I got a free university training about production compressed in 15 days. Later on to find out that this guy was a lecturer in one of the universities in UK. They teach on record production. I did not know this man. But because I told him I had an interest and he saw something, he compressed 4 years of knowledge in 2 weeks into my head. I didn't understand anything. You understand? That's how I got into production. So after that was done, I knew who he was. I was like, wow, what a privilege. I would have paid millions for what I got for that 2 weeks. So I just used to write. I had a book. Freakens what? Write. Conference is over. We go back to work. Remember, I'm still working for the Koreans. Now, the founder decides he wants to close this program. We did this tour for 4 years. Now he wants to close it. We're on the 4th year. So he's like, yeah, I think we've done what we can. Now we can empower you from internal. Then he looks at the 5 of us as like, you go think about what you want to do and then we will fund it. Look at the timings. So I have received a laptop from Korea. I've received a full training in Limuru. And then I have someone with money telling me, what do you want to do? We will fund it. That's what I'm telling you. God did this. God did this. So, of course, there's nothing else in my head at that time. I'm like, we can try this studio thing that everyone has been telling me. And they gave me the money. And I built the studio. Remember the image I have of studio? I got from... So the studio I'm trying to build is an international one. Little that's how I got into this thing. I have the contact in UK telling me whatever you need, I'm here. That is how I started the studio. And so at that time, I think, that's why I'm saying this story can be very long. I'm trying to compress it. But at that time, when I finished that studio, I built it for 3 months. When I finished it, it didn't even take 60 days because it became a sensation. Why? My goodness, my studio has flagship equipment, you know. Niko na motif, na spal export series, niko na vitu zenye you wouldn't really get this in studios. Studios will have the bare minimum, and the way it looked like. Remember, you know, my image is formed by something else. So the first time I opened a Facebook page and then I said, this studio is available, you can also come rehearse. I wish I saved those. The comments was like, please send us the actual picture of the studio. And I'm like, this is an actual picture of the studio. I'm like, no, you're lying. Tumetoka internet. I promise. So I think it looked too good for what people are used to at that time.
Yeah, true.
So within 2 months, I was booked out. Yo. My goodness. We used to get to the studio at 5 in the morning. Someone has booked at 6 a.m. Who is rehearsing at 6 a.m.? Because there's no other space, and there's no other space during the day, and they want to rehearse there.
True.
From 6 a.m. to 11 midnight, we are booked out. I was getting so tired. So I was like, okay, we can't do this anymore. We bumped up the cost so that we reduce
the number.
That's how I got into this thing. So I don't know what that was. This was God assigned.
True.
So yeah, I think that's my journey. There was no dream of me. I would lie to you. It was not there. Yeah.
Gone through your projects on your studio. Hey, you have. The catalog is so long. If I'm to read these people until itafika jioni.
Please don't read them.
But I'll just read the countries that you've been able to to touch in terms of your production. First, we have Zimbabwe, we have South Africa, we have Ghana, we have South Korea, we have DRC, we have Uganda, we have Ethiopia, we have Tanzania, we have Nigeria, we have Kenya. And those are artists. There are so many. I'm not going to read them, but there are so many.
I don't read them,
yeah.
please.
So, in case you want to get information of all these artists, visit the website of Artville. You'll see all of them there. You can be able also to go and read their testimonials of how they came to meet Joe. They're indeed good testimonials. I went through all of them. Wow. Just listening to what people are.
You are getting ready for this.
Listening to what artists are saying, and indeed it's very humbling. I believe even when you read them, you feel, wow, it is indeed
trust me, it is. I never saw. The way people plan for. Sometimes we plan for things and then we're not ready for when they come.
Yeah, true.
So I think I remember almost pinching myself in the face, wondering, I'm actually here busy running around with what those that are considered top artists, and not only in Kenya. So I was like, Joe, Joe, are you realizing where you are now?
True.
So honestly, I never got used to it. Mimi sijaika chini niseme. I was like, what a privilege. I think as I was preparing so much for the artist that I was dreaming to play for, God prepared me for here.
True.
And so I just found myself, without realizing, then later on I'm like, by the way, so it's really humbling. It's really humbling, yeah.
Maybe for the viewer, you can just break down some of the services offered at Artville for maybe someone is interested and maybe want to know what are the services that are offered at that.
Okay.
And then we'll also be able to attach the...
It's my moment to market.
Yes.
Really. So Artville is turning 10. Turning 10 years old. That list is long. We do everything from the rehearsals, the recording, live band recording. That's what we are known really for more. Like a whole band can come and record and go home, that kind of setup. So right now we are expanding. So we are setting up a new space which will now come together beyond the rehearsals and the recordings. Now we are opening it up for video shoots. What are they called? Hizo vitu, green and white screens, hizo, a space that people can use for podcasts and stuff like that. So it's going to be a little bit multifunctional in that and then there are things I don't want to share right now, but we are, as we celebrate 10, we are doing a bump up of a lot, and we'll pretty be loud about it so that people know. And this all again is fueled not because I was trying to do things, it was fueled by a solution. After playing, I cannot even keep account of how many live recordings I've done, but there has been a consistency of something that made me uncomfortable and unhappy. And I think God just pressed in my heart, instead of complaining, be the solution of what you're looking for. And so this new phase is just to bring that solution, that I can't fully share right now, but it's encompassing the whole thing, that 360 angle of dealing with an artist, from creation all the way to
the output,
how they're earning their money. Yeah, so that's really, but Artville Studios, we do all that kind of stuff. We are a creative hub, really. So anything you think needs creative, we've done film, so we do Foley, and recently we're having conversations with some of these producers who do series in the country and movies. They came over and they're like, so we do anything in the creative space. That we offer the solutions. Yeah.
What a better way to know than if you are not able to visit Artville? So take your phones out, go to Artville Studios
and check it.
You'll get all those subcategories of whatever is being done on that. And that should be a very, very good thing. Labda umekuwa ukitafuta solution na iko hapa. So maybe entering into your aspect, into your niche of being a music director and a creative director. So how many years in the field of music directing?
I don't think I have a number for that. Let me just say years of playing keyboard. I think music directing, I might not have a number, maybe 15 or so, maybe, I don't know. Because that's trying to see when was the first time I did. That's difficult. But playing keyboard, this is my 23rd year.
Wow.
23rd year, I think. 23rd, 2025.
Yeah, 2025.
Yeah, should be 23rd, 24th year. Yeah.
Quite a
it's been a long journey.
It's been a long journey. It's been a long journey. Yeah. Maybe as a music director, and today I'm saying maybe I have a project. I'm calling on Joe. I'm saying, Joe, you are the MD. We fanya vile utafanya. Get me the bandits who will be able to play for this. What are those attributes that you look into in choosing maybe people who are to play for a certain music?
Actually, just to before I answer you, so the role I moved into is really not music directing. I event produce. I produce now because music directing is completely music
oriented.
Yes, but now my engagement is beyond music.
It's about the whole.
It's the whole thing. It's the whole live recording, So it morphed into producing the live recording. So I'm more of a producer who MDs rather than an MD who produces.
I get it.
I'm more of a producer who MDs. So usually I have a process. Everyone who works with me gets to see how I do it. My first task is to have a meeting or a session with the artist. Let's talk. What do you want to do?
Let's break down.
Take me through your vision, right? From there, it feeds to me your type of music, your vibe as an artist, your references, like in your head. What is the picture? The picture is important. Otherwise, you start a project thinking as someone is doing the Maverick studio and yet they are doing the experience in Nigeria. You get perspective is important. So I have those sessions with them to understand and even what drives them, why are they doing it, and what are they trying to achieve, what about their career, what is in their head. From there, it gives me a perspective of type of event, how it's going to look like, how your music is like, and then from there, it feeds me the information of who needs to be involved in it. So which is the right drummer, which is the right singer, which is the right, because everyone has a vibe,
True.
It's not just that I have a band that I work with. No. There's certain music that this particular band won't do,
deliver it as much as
better.
True.
So I think, for instance, if when I'm working with Alice Kimanzi, her music is very Congo driven, so it is easier to work with a team that is good at that sound. Then I switch over to our worship or our worship. You go western kidogo, Every artist is,
Every artist is diverse.
So that's how my process has always been based on the vision they're trying to do and the sound they want to achieve. In the catalog of musicians we have, I'm like, who are the people that can execute this best? That's how I choose.
Okay.
Then once we are there, then we go through now the pre-production phase. We do a rehearsal schedule. There's a rehearsal schedule, and then there's a pre-production schedule. Yes, schedule. You know, so there are these two things that happen in tandem, and then we prepare. So really, that's usually my process. I meet with them first, then from them we form the whole team. Then we put a schedule, then we move.
And what are the must goes after now selecting the team? What of course I know you being a very productive person, there are things that you really need to watch in terms of the team. Yes, they may form a team, but the team has to observe some different forms of discipline to ensure that this thing gets to success. What are those things that
is really easy. I usually have a contract. Yeah. So when an artist engages me, they engage me in that full nature. So what I tell them is simple. What you need to worry about is me. Let me worry about everything else. So everyone signs my contract and they see the deliverables there. If you don't meet, you see the repercussions. It's usually very straightforward. There's no need to have conversations about, because my firm belief is this. This artist is supposed to spend a lot of money.
True.
And most chances are this money they don't have. That's the truth. They don't have. It's either a faith project, they're going to fundraise, they're going to sell a car. You know, it's costing them so much.
Yeah, true.
So it is the least that I can do. Anyone who is in this team understands bare minimum. These are the terms. If you're late by this amount of money, this amount of money is gone. If you don't, it's very clearly stipulated. So if you're supposed to get 20,000 and then you miss this, then this and this, and you're getting 13, there's no fighting. It's in your contract. That's how I prefer working, and then it just gives you peace of mind.
Yeah, true.
You know, I don't want to do daddy duties in a gig. Uko happy? No, hey. You tell me where you are. Yeah, so really,
true.
It saves the artist their money, and then it gets your professional crew to work with. Pretty much that's how I've been doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you describe your leadership style when dealing with these creatives?
It has morphed. When I started, I was very, very tough. I was very tough. And I think it's because of my orientation, how I got into this. I used to serve under a music director back in the day, 2009-10, called Shadrach, or Shady as he was known. He passed away last year.
Sorry.
That guy was tough. So serving under him formed my MD-ness. Because he used to, when he enters practice, the choir of 50 goes quiet and come a principal amengia. It was that serious. So that's how I learned how to do that. So when I started, I was so tough. And I remember so many people were, you know, they were indifferent, or they were just, you know, shy or afraid whenever they are around, and I didn't like it because it made me a party pooper. Unaingia party inaisha. Jamaa mserious amekuja, unajua. So I began to become a little bit soft, or rather be humane. Yeah. So right now I'm very tolerant. So we've done the contract. But you know, I woke up with my legs swollen. Okay, it happens. I'm sorry. I'm a bit tolerant until, you know, it's a little bit too much. Yeah. So my leadership style right now is I've become very lenient, but it works like a battery. You know, once it runs out, I automatically replace you without telling you.
Pretty much.
I think ile energy ya ku-exchange iliisha. Why did you? Iliisha.
True.
So I'll just study 1, 2, 3, 4. I just I just replace. I just replace. Find someone else and tell you, hey, Nyaje, I don't think this is going to work because of ABC. And then they will, of course, vent and rant and just be quiet. Once they're done, I'm sorry. I do it differently now. Then, nilikuwa mkali. Sahi niko
a bit lenient.
Ikiisha. Yeah, so I think my you asked about my qualities. It's a difficult thing to answer, but I think I'm very meticulous, and I don't want to sit or to be in anything that is less excellent to the level that I think excellent is. If it is, then, which I have done, but I never forgive myself. You understand? Like I let things slide, and you know, every time I look at it, it reminds me that I should have done this better. I should have, So I happen to be that kind of a person. But because sometimes you don't have control over many things, so hence, therefore, I want to do what I want to do, so that I have control over many things, and I can say this was my work.
True.
Yeah.
It indeed speak a big picture of what you're envisioning. And maybe wanted to know, maybe how do you foster a positive and collaborative environment with the people you work with? What are those things maybe that you do together, maybe to just ice break? Because maybe at some point you might call people who are new. And you also, I believe, for production to go forth, there has to be a kind of breaker in terms of interaction.
That's true.
Knowing these people, so that even by the time you're interacting, you're like, this guy tunazam approach in this kind of manner.
That's true. I think those are some of the things that I'm beginning to onboard. Okay. Remember, my orientation was very different. It was military.
True.
You either get it done or you go. So I didn't have this, accommodative thing is what I'm trying to embrace right now. And I think one of the very first things that I do is to ensure that ice is first of all broken. People come to you and they're like, oh my god, and like, okay, sawa. Tumeshamaliza hapo woviti tukule ugali, just to break. Relax. I'm just a man like you, bana. Don't make this so uncomfortable. So I usually do my best to break that. So that now, because when someone is in that state, they are almost they are almost less of an asset, because they are in a state of, I don't know what to call that. It's like they are in, in a state of what?
You say starstruck.
That kind of state. So they can't give you who they are. And I want who you are. Give me who you are. Tell me, join you, fala. Hii idea you that's what I want. Usikwe tu. No. So I usually try my best to break that, so that we can be productive. And then I secondly is I try to, now being a believer, I try to worry more about your stuff rather than what you can bring on the table. How are you at home? Do you have fare? Is everything okay? Are you in a creative state to deliver? No, you are not,
True.
Or yes, you are, So I try to get beyond the work and just know them as a person. So we build relationships. I feel like once we are in that state, then even after the event, I remember you, and we can meet and we can have other conversations. And probably I'll get to know some of other things that you're good at that I would never have known if you just came and sang.
True.
I'm like, you're good at graphics design. You see, so some things like that, just to break that starstruckness and just to have people be comfortable in spaces and contribute. I think that's what I really like. I'm very collaborative. In fact, I think the past few years now, maybe 3-4, so I took a different approach to this MD thing. Because one of the things that I fear is to have 17 albums sounding the same. So I became, because you're a one man, there's a way you think.
True.
So I changed my model. I became very collaborative. So as we sit in a session, even before I come and say how I want, I'll just give a general perspective of a direction, and I'm like, what do you think? what
Get
do you
ideas
think?
in,
What do you think? And so I will do a consolidation and then I make it fit into, so nafanya pruning sasa. Okay, idea ni poa lakini haiwaka kwa nyimbo hii, tutachukua hii part hii tutaachana na hii. So I consolidate. That's the angle I took, so that every song everyone collaborated. Yes, I MD'd. Yes, I gave the final direction, but everyone contributed something. I didn't come with a track and taught people, Yeah.
I believe that also builds confidence in your team.
Yes. They see also they can also kila mtu anaweza contribute. True. Creativity has no mastery in my view. We sema mimi ndio chief. Kuna there's even someone who's learning can give you an idea that will make this song what it needed to be more than your 70 years of years. So for me, everyone gets a same platform to contribute creatively.
Wow, amazing indeed. Maybe just an intrigue of which softwares do you use in your MDing process?
My MDing process?
Yeah, I believe there's always build up of stems and such kind of things.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I think we're generally talking about the technology on stage.
Technology on stage, yeah.
So my primary software is Ableton. Ableton Live is my center command, my center, my command center, yeah. And then supporting it, I use 3 others. So I use another one called Main Stage, and then I use another one called Able Set for a different function. Now, in Main Stage is where a lot goes in. So when I say Main Stage, we are talking about all the soft sounds you can think. Primarily I have an MKS in my Main Stage rig, and then a lot of Logic sounds also that go in there, and then I have a contact library in there with various plugins. So I just say Main Stage because it is the host of these many plugins that I am using. So Main Stage, Ableton, and another one called Able Set. Able Set is just pretty much an app that controls my systems. So those are the 3 things I really interact with most of the time on stage. I don't think there's another one.
Hizo ndio umezipitisha. Zimepita mtihani.
Hizo ndio I got comfortable with them and I said, if it works, don't fix it.
Okay. In the years of experience that you've had, you've had an opportunity of writing songs?
A little bit.
Which you have not sung or you've given to artists to sing?
You never see me sing. As of now, I have not gotten the courage to do that. It's interesting though I train vocals, but I can't. I'm the Kang Franklin. You show but you don't sing. But so I've worked with a team called New Wave. I don't know whether you've heard of them.
I think you must get
New Wave. So New Wave we've released with them 2 or 3 songs so far, and then there's an album coming up. That's where my songs have really so there's a song that plays on Hope FM called Ushindi. Nina Ushindi Vajina Lake. That was me who wrote that song. So I've written some songs here and there, but definitely not singing them. I actually used to give them to New Wave. They've done all my songs. And then now in the other perspective is when you're working with, sometimes when I'm working with the artists, they have a shell and then we build a song together.
Yeah, true.
So I pretty much contribute 50% of the song. But no one will ever know until they listen to this podcast. Yeah,
true.
Yeah, because we don't really have to say co-written by
true.
We just said MD. So yeah, but yeah, I've written. I also have some list of songs that I have not done anything about. Maybe just waiting for the right moment to give them to someone who can sing them well.
Amazing. Because I was also just thinking about your catalog. I'm imagining also having interacted with all these people, so ideas, they are prone to just waver from every people you meet across the different sectors. So moving to event production. What makes an event successful? In general, now that is the whole scope of it.
There's the whole scope.
Scope of it. Yeah.
A good team. A good team. That's the answer.
A good team.
A good team. A good team. I think events become successful because the event has been put into the hands of someone who understands, and then this person who understands, understanding meaning they have sufficient knowledge about doing this thing, then they're able to put a team that is able to do this thing well. Not a team of people who are available to work. True. A team of people who know what they're doing.
They understand what
when you have that synergy, that event is at 100. That really is it. So that's why we anyone who locks on that, their event is at 100%.
And maybe during event programming, are there priority tasks or the tasks that you prioritize to manage first before others?
Okay, let's. That question is. Let me dial back a little bit. You see, event programming is very different than what you asked me before.
Okay.
Event programming is what it entails is the music, the lighting, the lyrics. What else? The graphics. That is event programming.
Okay.
That on its own is something else. But event, this is a small portion of an event. It's a very small portion, yeah. So these are two different things. In the on preparing for an event, you need a team. My team has 22 people. These are key people, key people, because you need to have your creative director in. You need to have your production. Your creative director, your lighting designer, your graphics designer, the music director is in there. You have your production manager, production admin person. You have accounts into this thing. This is a whole organization,
True.
into the sound. You need the in-ear engineer, the FOH engineer, the recording engineer with their tech assists, the video director with the team. Who am I leaving behind? And then there's someone in my team usually called head of experience. Head of experience is dealing with the security, the protocols, and the people experience of this gig. All this is encompassing event. When I say you need to have a good team, that is the team. Now, once that is done, now we go to event programming. Now, I've not really had the privilege to do much of that here. And that's what I really want to get into. It's been nuggets and pieces. We design, but it's designed manually. Like we do things, you go take care of this, you get take care of this. And because of how events have been, we deal with so many people. I come to a gig and this guy is doing this is doing that, this is doing that, this is doing that, and no one is in charge. So I'm like, this is it's a problem. Yeah, so it's what I am hopefully this year. One of the events I want to put up, I'll now do that completely. Program this thing so that we know this event is 2 hours, 23 minutes and 17 seconds. That's my timeline on Ableton. When we hit start, it's the start of the gig. When we hit stop, it's the end. That's fully programmed. So I'm hoping to do that sometime this year so that people can see the power of what that looks like, because I don't think people have experienced that yet here.
So generally I'm understanding that the team basically needs to be upfront in terms of taking tasks for an event to be successful, and then people have to understand the vision of the event also at the same time.
Correct.
Because the people you put in, if they don't understand indeed what you're going for, it's hard for you to break down each and everything that you do.
Yeah.
Amazing. To you now as a music arranger, I believe you've arranged most of the music that we hear out here. Common music we jump to, we don't know. Hey, Daniel alitengeneza. Who was part of this? Because to the catalog I've seen almost all the Kenyan musicians who we hear the song on air, wamepita kwa mikono yako. Is it also, did you start arranging also the same time you also did the music directing, or it's a bit different, or you started it prior before?
I think my journey into this was because of my history of what I was trying to become. All right. Remember me mentioning to you when I started this, I was trying to finally get to MD
Yeah, true.
So because of that, some of the things I used to do during that time was to overstudy the music. So you listen to a song and feel good. Me, I listened to it 10 times. The first times was to feel good. The third time, okay, now what's going on in this song? The fourth time, okay, wow, what were they thinking? The fifth. So by the time I'm onto the 10th time, I'm not listening to the song because it feels good.
Yeah, true.
I'm trying to study their thinking patterns. I'm trying to study their decision making. Why arrange it like this? What were you thinking? I'm trying to listen inside, because when how our ears function is the first time you hear something, even if ilikuwa na shida, hautasikia.
Yeah, true.
Because we are out the outer court tuko nje.
True.
By the time naisikiza mara ya 6 you're able to pick out things that you could not exactly. True. So by the time I get to 10 I can hear the strings and the organs, I can hear the effects passing across, I can hear the guitar 1 and the guitar 2. Now I can get into the song. So now that I'm hearing them, I'm trying to study how they are doing it. How are you thinking? Why would the organ run in this direction, the keyboard run in this direction, and the pad will come here and leave? And what is this thing that you're doing? And so my should I say skill of arranging was built during that time. Because now I tried to attempt to do this. I'm like, okay, let me try to do something and think like this and think like that. So really that's how I started. And definitely I told you I got access to some email and these guys, and I would ask these questions and they will answer me.
Yeah, true.
And so during that time, to build this knowledge, and the DVD that I bought, beyond playing, this guy was speaking as well. So it helped me understand a lot into that world. Generally, I don't think I've really arranged any music into what I'd want it to sound like.
Bado.
Because I've not gotten the opportunity, you understand? And this is what I mean. Why I walked into producing events more than just MDing is because many people, most artists in Kenya will come to you 3-4 months to. It's too late.
Too late, yeah. Little time.
Too late. Too late. We are not an advanced music industry. We can't compete with US in terms of that. That's an advanced music industry. So it is to an injustice to ourselves to come in too late. Too late means I'm taking the first month to even understand the direction you wanted to go musically. Before we begin to arrange the basic fabric, then we begin to fill it up. So we never get the opportunity to fill.
Yeah.
Because by the time we are arranging the basic, we are ready to the gig day, right?
True.
So we've already been confined. And I'd look at people like Joyas who are heavily studying, the US market and doing what they're doing. Joyas will do 9 months. 9 to 4, Monday to Friday, for 9 months, for us to hear what we hear. Yet they sometimes don't even sound as good as US. Who are we to do 3 months? You understand? Yet South Africa is a more mature music market than we are in terms of what they churn out.
True.
Not skill wise. That one, I don't want to be in problem. What one saying nadharawa Kenya. No. But when you listen to what they do and what we do, they are maturer in terms of what they are churning out. Yeah.
True.
But they do 9 months. Who are we to do a month, 2 months? Like anyway. So my point is that's really how my journey began to just studying, and it's just that's why I'm saying I don't think I've done it because I've not gotten to be part of a project yet that gave enough time to dream about this music, to sit there and dream about this music until you create the nitty-gritties. We've come close. Don't get me wrong, we've come close. There are projects that we've really come close, but there's none that we've had enough time
to do that.
To me, no. We've just said we have the primary, because let me tell you what I mean by enough time. Enough time means we do sound design. There is none of that we do. We use preset sounds.
True.
Sound design means we are tuning the drums to the key of the general sound of the concert. We are identifying a piano sound to a song. It's not just the one that is there. We tuned the piano to fit the context of this particular song. The aux guy designed every sound for the song. So even if they were doing strings, it's not just the generic strings. It was tuned to fit the vibe of it. We don't do that here.
We don't.
That's what I mean. Okay? That's what I mean. Because that's things I've seen. You see the problem of traveling now is you're like, Allah, this is Allah. So you'll get a song on YouTube or Spotify and you'll listen to a piano and you'll see they are playing a particular keyboard, but you can't find that sound in that keyboard. Where is it coming from? It was designed for that song. So we don't get to sound design because that needs time. And that time is not there.
Okay.
Mtu anakukimbiza, So it's an unfortunate thing. So how I... before you ask me that question, some of the things that I'm trying to solve in that is to have my own rig. That I feel like that's so that when I'm in my own room that looks like this at home and I have my keyboards that I play for them, now I have bought myself time to design. Because most of the equipment we're using is hired a day to the event.
True, very true.
When will you program what you need to sit down with that instrument? So I want to put my own rig, then we can begin to usher our people into that, so that every song has a unique thing
about it.
It's not just a generic motif sound on all. So that's what I'm talking about. Designing the lighting. Now take that knowledge and spread it into every other department. They need to be designed for it to be unique.
Oh, amazing. That's
some of the things I'm believing God to do.
Wow, that's indeed profound.
Tumeingia ndani.
Tumeingia ndani kweli. Wow, such an amazing conversation as we progress. Unani challenge kweli in terms of different things.
We learn and grow together.
Indeed.
We learn and grow together.
What are those genres of music you find yourself most drawn into?
Black gospel, as they call it. They call it black gospel. The African American music has a soft spot in my heart, especially the church. Congregational. I'm telling you, you put me there, I'm at home. And then later on I fell in love with the Congo Lingala. I fell in love with Lingala. So in the order of Nini, I'd do the US, then I would do Lingala, and then I go to funk pop. That's my orientation. That's what I've listened to. That's what shaped my music. It's the mind I use as I get into any space to serve.
One of the unique things I've learned about you and your studio that you do is you do vocal. You still do band arrangements, which is unique because band arrangement, not too many people have had do band arrangements where they come and direct the band on segments that how do you introduce a song, how do you lay the song to the people, how do you get out, how do you transit. And I believe that's a very, very unique niche. Rarely have I had, mostly I just hear vocal training. That is what mostly is in the market. Maybe for the vocal and the band coaching, what are the things that you settle in terms of what are the things that first you need to know about? What are the things that you test to know at what level am I supposed to get this person in terms of the vocals? And at what point am I supposed to get to this band to understand the arrangement that I'm trying to maybe instill in them, or the arrangement that they are playing, how they can be able to twist it a bit to make sense?
Okay. I believe I understood that question. Now, for me, there are primary things. You need to be good first. Let's not even discuss about the arrangement. You just need to be a professional musician, number one. Okay? Because as I've explained to you, time is heavily money. And for instance, anyone doing a live recording, you get a less professional band, your expenditure is going to be more because we are spending more time rehearsing. So for the professionals that I get the privilege to work with, and there are some amazing musicians in this country, we do a minimum, an average of 3 hours per song. From intro to every transition to the outro, 3 hours. So when you get a team that is ati ile run ilikuwa gani pentatonic, and then they're taking too long, you need 4 to 5 hours or more to get one song completely done. That means more money. So first thing is they need to be good. Fast and good. Hapo ndo mali tunaanzia, hata kabla tuseme vitu vingine. Ndo zingine tunakimbizanga tukienda enda udigest nyumbani, you know, stuff like that. That's a good place to be in. So those are the first things I check. Even if it's the singers. For me, singing it's a joke I usually make, like when I'm doing auditions for whatever team, sometimes I'm called by churches to help do auditions for their choirs and stuff. I just need 15 seconds of you to sing. I'm done. I've made my decision. Because I've heard everything I need to hear, you know. So they have to be good, number one. That's what I check. And then after that, now, of course, an addition of knowledge about what you're doing is good, you know, because communication is easy when you know what you're doing. When I tell you belt from this and maybe do like you understand it, or when I say we are doing a pentatonic scale from G running into an Egyptian on the relative 6 minor, you already have an idea what we just said, rather than just tell me note by note, you know. It makes our work faster. So it's important that people you have the primary knowledge, makes us move faster. So there's some of the things I check. And I think just to mention something you've mentioned there, again, it's orientation. You remember my experience of studio is completely the first time I'm experiencing studio. I'm outside the country and I'm in a very professional space, and so I learned how to run a professional recording studio session. That's how I learned, you know, by observation and osmosis. But that's really how I learned, and that's how I do sessions. And have a band come to studio, they have a song, and we will walk through that journey together. Tone of bass you need to select, what's the right microphone, keyboard play, and we'll make this thing together. Unless they came fully prepared, they know what they were recording, they just needed you to hit a record, that's a different case. And even though I will still guide them on what was wrong and what is right, I'm like, I know this you prepared, but this is off, do it like this. It adds value to their music, you know. Same thing with the singers. Me, I don't just record singers takes. We will spend time. Something we call comping in recording, where we will identify the tone, style, breadth, and structure of every syllable that you're going to sing throughout your verses. And we will identify, you're going to do it like this, you'll belt here, you'll come down, you'll breathe here, we'll will dynamically work on it part by part until you get it. And that take it home as a guide.
Yeah.
So that you go through it enough time. So when you come, we do one take.
Figure one time.
That's the plan. And even that day you come, we'll do like 5 of those takes, and then I will still now comp meaning I'll take the best parts of each to get your final. It's detailed. I don't just let you record and then put those auto tunes people do. I hate to do that because most of the people I'm dealing with are pop singers, so they are already good. They don't need that thing. You know, I'm not dealing with people who have an idea of song and then they are depending on the auto tune to sound good.
Yeah, true.
Most of these guys are really good already. So it's just to make them. So with those artists, you deal with them differently. You need to know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
True.
So I think all these experiences made me have this versatile knowledge, and I had the privilege to briefly work with Hillsong, Sydney in Australia. The production crew as they were preparing for their 2017 live recording. And creative conference. I had the privilege to be with them. So my influences now became very wide. Now you see my events knowledge is coming from what I've learned in all these spaces, the studio and directing music. It all boiled into this one thing. That's why I think my contribution and all those elements become a little bit more than meet your average MD person only, yeah? I guess so. I guess those experiences made me have more knowledge about that, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
The exposure indeed is very, very magnificent in what you're saying. So maybe I just want us to, I'm just going to give you a word, then you will be able to explain to me what it means. Under the band,
Sips water.
Under the singer and the band. Yeah, because, first is harmony.
You want my description of the Google one?
Description.
I would describe harmony as a combination of frequencies that create unison of sound. I think that's the best way I can describe harmony.
I get it. 2 is synchrony.
Wow.
Kiingereza ikata wingi Kiswahili.
My friend, who could describe synchrony? I think it's I would another word I'll use for synchrony is alignment. To be in time with.
Okay.
That's the best way I can say it is to be in time with.
To sync.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Diction.
Wow. Another word for me there will be how you articulate or you phrase something. Yeah, so the diction. Unanipatia dictionary assignments hapa, the phrasing and the articulation of either a word or a melody or a sound or something like that. There's the phrasing and the articulation of it. For me, that is diction. Yeah.
And then projection.
I would call that, the power. The power to... We're dealing with vocals here, yeah?
Yeah, dealing with vocals.
Yeah, I'll call that the power of voice or the power and control of your voice as you release that air and sound. You project it. Yeah.
Belting. I guess belting also. Yeah, belting from somewhere. Belting.
Is it the belt?
Yeah.
How can I describe belting? I think describing it. So for me, it is. It's a loud projection. That's the best. It's a loud projection. Yeah, you belted it out. I find the best way for me to describe is not very far from projecting to me. I might be wrong there, but belting for me is that loud projection of a note. You're belting it out with your full voice. There's that voice that's coming from we say stomach. Yeah, that one. You belt it out. Yeah, that's what I think it is.
Okay.
Ni quiz.
Imeisha. Tumaliza. We are done with it. Yeah. But maybe to just understand the different voices I hear, there is head voice, there is what? Okay, we'll get to that. Acha tupe viewers the opportunity. Go look into the different types of voices that you have.
And then you let us know.
Yeah, you let us know.
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing indeed. Amazing. So pertaining the live recordings, we've already captured what the live recordings encompasses and all that, and also the sessions of practice that you're involved in. According to you, what are those components that makes a live recording on point?
Yeah, so we've partially touched on it.
Yeah.
You need to have a solid production team. And behind the production team, you need to have a very good producer. I think sometimes in our country, this term producer, watu hawaelewi ni tunasema. Wao wanajua ile ya studio.
Yeah. Take one. Na chorus.
They know that. You need to have an event producer, the person who has the vision to execute it technically, that will distribute that information to the tech leads. That person is key. So if you have a good production team without a producer, you still have chaos. Because who is telling who where we are going?
True.
You get my picture? Yeah. So you need the architect before you call the contractors.
True.
Because the architect is showing the contractor, the electrician, and everyone who's going to lay something what they are doing. If you call these people without that person, they will build. But you'll have chaos. So you need someone who understands how to run events, how to produce. I'm talking about technical skill. Then you have a solid team that can execute. Number 3, you need to have definitely the music director who understands and will translate your music into the vision that you have. And then you need professional team, band and singers. Tosha. You're good. Hiyo ingine sasa ni post production. Get yourself a good mixing and mastering engineer.
Yeah.
Those for me are the key elements. Producer. So some of these roles usually can interchange. Like for example, like see in my case, I do event production at the same time I'm MDing. Yeah. But in terms of offices, you need an event producer, a solid production team, music director, a solid singing, and like solid band, post-production, mix master.
Oh, amazing. This is an intriguing question. Have you ever had an opportunity or a moment where either your tools failed while on a recording?
Too many times.
And maybe what was your way of
too many times.
What was your way of coming this ile point? Na maybe sasa hiyo ndio party yako inafaa.
Too many times. Yeah. So look, I like technology a lot, but technology is dangerous. Technology is dangerous. I think so many times I've argued with people about my setup, and they're like, "Why do you?" I'm like, "Yo, I'd rather have the physical board here because it never fades. It never fades, But once you start going digital and some MIDI notes anyway. So I've heard too many times. I think there was one time my interface had a clocking issue with the laptop. So the track is jumping. This has happened to me actually a couple of times. Niko tu natoka katikati ya recording. You have to either stop or you I don't know, figure it out. And that has happened to me a couple of times. Another time is when the MIDI, my MIDI keyboard and the laptop stopped communicating. And the MIDI is triggering an important part, like the way a song can have sometimes you have one particular song having change of tempo or change of time signature, and it's in the middle of a particular arrangement. So I do not have the privilege to hit stop and start.
Yeah, true.
So what I need to do is I need to hit my MIDI to count the last 4 bars and then to drastically change tempo and everything. And then the MIDI stuck. Lifinya hivi kalod. So those were epic. Epic. They look simple, but in the context of a production or live recording, you have messed up the drama completely.
Yeah, true.
Amepotea. So the singers watapotea. Everything goes down.
True.
Yeah, I've had moments. So I'm saying technology is good, but it can do you stuff. Yeah.
Maybe reflecting back in your journey, what are those highlights, or we can call them the high moments, or the moments that you felt, wow, these were indeed awesome moments for me in terms of the realization to who you've become. And as you tell me the high moments, also remember maybe you might have low moments. Yeah.
Woo! Those ones are touched a nerve. I think one of my highest moments, I think this was during Praise Atmosphere. I was doing Praise Atmosphere, and I happened to be on stage briefly with Nathaniel Bassi, and I don't know, I think it's because of how I regard him, not that others were lesser,
true.
But just where you place someone, so to be in that moment was quite a highlight for me. Tremendous highlight. I've had many highlights. That one was one. The next one is I'm sitting on the keyboard and Sinach is singing, and we are with Ben Hinn, and I'm on the keyboard. Those two things have been quite a highlight for me, because these are people that have hey, Ben Hinn mtu mwana kinini. So Ben Hinn, I don't know whether you know Ben Hinn. Ben Hinn is a man of God from US, and we've grown up watching TBM, and to be here and he's standing here and we are playing I think Waymaker or something. It was just a moment for me. So those were key highlights, being in stages that I felt were too big for me to be in at that particular, and I felt such an honor. Nimekumbuka ya tatu. The third one was when Apostle Joshua Selman came for the first time, and I happened to be on keyboard just before his musician came. Those are just highlight, because these are people I highly regard. They are highly regard. I was like, hey, niko hapa, Joe. Those are high moments for me. But now coming back to the Praise Atmosphere, I think it's because there's a way you can do something and then get used to the routine. But at that particular one, I think I logged out. I logged. It's like I left and I came back like, bro, you check where you are again. And then it's like, I look at this venue, I look at where I'm seated, I look at the people standing next to me, I look at all the artists, and I took it all in. I was like, wow, I've come a long way.
True.
Good Lord, that moment, I think I remember. I think I just took a step back and I was like, wow.
Indeed.
I think I was working so much I forgot to take a moment and breathe and just look at the far I've come by the grace of God. I was like, wow, I'm here. That was a high moment for me, I think.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, for Praise Atmosphere. For the lowest. For the lowest was in 2020 during COVID, and we were doing Praise Atmosphere non-audience version. Okay, we had Essence of Worship in the Essence of Worship.
Essence of Worship, Tanzania.
Not Essence of Worship, yes? Essence of Worship were there. I think Paul Clement was there in the house, and a couple of artists from Kenya. And it was a fantastic nini. So I was in a state because my dad was in hospital. So I was in a state, he was in Kenyatta, admitted, and I'm just coming from there. My mom's like, no, you go do it. I mean, you have to do this thing, as in they can't cancel a whole, and I get it, So I was in an unstable state. Then I think one of the guys had taken my phone. Do you only concentrate, otherwise
true.
I'm the firstborn, so you can understand. So we did the thing, we finished. Of course, we did well. It was nice, but of course, part of me is like, I need to find out what's going on in the hospital.
True.
Yeah. So my dad passed during that time.
What?
That took me off. Yo. Yeah, that took me completely. In fact, I almost stopped playing kabisa because it felt like I was not where I was supposed to be. If you get, I should have been in the hospital.
Yeah.
What was I doing a gig? And you have to, I had to be taken out of that thinking. Otherwise, that 2020 was the last people would have seen about me. That was it. I was done. I was like, this thing, my parents are passing as my father is passing as I'm playing. I felt so guilty choosing keyboard over. You understand? It hits differently. So that was the lowest. I think it took some strength for me to be taken out of that thinking, because my mom was like, snap out of it. Even if you are there, there's nothing done. But it doesn't. I mean, I get it, but I want to be there. I want to be there. I want to be there.
I didn't even to listen to the last words.
Exactly, those things are haunting me. I'm like, and my mom is like, me, I was in the hospital all through, and I didn't get that opportunity. So really, I get she was trying to, but that was my lowest. That is 2020 November. And I was like, me, I'm busy pressing chords. And my dad is going. Maybe I would have taken him to a different hospital. Maybe. Now you start thinking like
what trajectory I would have taken that could have been better.
It took me a while to walk out of that thinking, but it affected me a little bit.
Wow. So sorry for that.
It is wow.
Wow.
Hiyo umeuliza Lois, sasa kaenda mahali mbaya.
Okay. Back to the keyboard or the piano.
Yeah.
Which was your first key that you learned on the keyboard?
I think it was F.
F.
I think it was F. Yeah. It's the first keys I learned.
Co-elements that you can suggest to a keyboardist to learn first before starting to rush and say, mimi najua kucheza hiki kitu.
You get your foundation right. I think much of the problem we have, leave alone music related, leave alone production, leave alone. It's a general thing I've learned in this country, and I think I can speak like this because of external influences. We are not thorough people. Very few of us are thorough people, right? We are on the surface people. So now coming back to the industry, coming back to keyboard, get your foundation right. Do your homework. Do your homework.
Wakati unataka, wakati utaki.
Yes, get the knowledge right, because the immediate thing I hear when someone tells me they play F sharp, that's what they know how to play. Automatically tells me they do not have their foundation right, because if your foundation is right, the same knowledge on F sharp is the same knowledge on all the other 12.
Yeah, true.
The other 11, yeah? So if you knew the foundation, you'll not be stuck on a key.
Yeah, true. can transverse.
Because it's not F sharp we are learning. We are learning the principle of do, mi, so. We are learning the solfa notation. So if you know that, you translate that on all keys. So you cannot be stuck. So if you are stuck, tells me your foundation is already wrong. You need to undo and start afresh. So people just need to do their homework. I think that's what I'll say, especially for keyboard perspective. Just do your homework. Train your ear. Learn the foundations. Learn the solfa notation. Learn the chord. Learn the extensions. Learn all the extensions till 13th and whatever. Learn them. Those are foundations. Those are all foundations. 13 are foundations. They are not advanced. They are foundations.
Basically, you are saying they have to learn both. Know the practical bit, but also know the theory bit.
Exactly. Just do that. And it's not difficult. You just take a month or two only. And you're good. From there, now you add to the knowledge. So some of the things I teach when I'm doing piano classes, I teach something we call relative pitch training. Because not so many people have perfect pitch. Relative pitch training gives you the ability to pick keys quickly. You don't have to peck the keyboard looking for someone singing. You will hear them, and because you have the training, you automatically know what key they are. You didn't cram it. You used knowledge. Because knowledge is, you have to know, you have to have reference. So relative pitch training is based on reference. You relate it to something. So you cram one key. Sound. Let's say C. You cram the sound of C. Immediately you're there. Then anyone and then you learn what you call intervals. So when someone sings, in my head, I find my root, which is my C sound, and then I listen to what they are singing. They are not on C, they are on some other key, and then I find the interval. Distance, and then I know that's a minor 6 interval. Then I automatically know they're on A flat, and I go straight to A flat. Very simple. And these things happen so fast in your ear, so you hear them 3 seconds in, you're in. If your ear is good. So those are foundationals. Those are foundationals, you know.
Which are very critical.
That are important to learn. So that's really what I'd say. Learn your foundations and number 2, if someone has to be serious about playing keyboard and being a musician, then take it seriously. Take it seriously.
True.
Treat it as if this is your career. You know, take it seriously. Package yourself. Work on your character. Work on your personality. Work on your people skills. Work on your negotiating. Take it seriously. Do your work. Get the job done. Simple. Because this thing has nothing to do. There's no way I can sit here and tell someone my website got me work. No. My website is just for reference.
True.
Work got me work.
True.
Because it's a referral thing. Creative space is a completely referral thing. You cannot market yourself as a mixing engineer online.
True.
Even if you do, people come because, hey, who did this? Hey, who arranged this? It's a referral thing.
True.
So every time you're doing work for someone, it's you marketing. It's not these online things are just for, you want to see what I've done? You go up. That's just for that, really.
True.
Yeah. So that's what I really encourage people to do. Like, they put in the work. Let's not joke around. Because you cannot sit here and start complaining that people are getting paid less, and then you're not. Let's conversation for another time. But get the job done. Prove yourself worth of what you want to be paid. Simple. Simple.
Make every coin count as per your work. Amazing. So also there is one unique also a bit that you do, which is basically when the preachers are preaching, there is music that is always in the background. And I believe that is beyond just a normal keyboardist, because I think there are notes that you transgress and you feel this are what warms this section, these are what, and I believe that, for me, I believe that is not just about you knowing the keyboard, it's also about you understanding the different notations to use in the different movement of which I'm aware of you doing that for Reverend,
for my pastor,
Reverend Killer.
Okay, this conversation is completely spiritual. I don't think there's anything I can say about it that is outside that scope. I mean, backing up a man of God. What goes on there is this. It's hey, how do I say this? It's like you're connecting to his spirit.
Yeah.
One. Number two, that's beyond learning the person that he is, learning their preferences. Because they're human. They are not God. They are human, so they have preferences. They're those who like R&B. So there's an element of you knowing what is their preference. One.
Yeah, true.
Then two, connecting to their spirit. Now, this thing is too spiritual more than
more than
I don't think I can downplay that. However, so what is involved? To my knowledge, I mean, I'm not an expert in that area. To my knowledge is, first of all, you need to understand spiritually what sounds mean. Spiritually, how they translate.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
For a normal keyboard player, if I tell them, play prophetic, what are they really hearing me say? Because there's no chord called prophetic. There's no such chord. We have minor and majors, We don't have prophetic. But prophetic is not a chord, it's a sound. So they need to understand the sounds of atmospheres. All right? And this cannot be learned on YouTube. No one can teach this on YouTube. This is learned from the secret. You sit there with the Holy Spirit. You spend time and they begin to take you through sounds. There are certain chords, I'll tell you for fact. There are certain, not chords, but flow of chords, like the way you combine stuff. I learned in the secret place, literally, and I was not doing practice. I was in prayer and I was in worship, but I was playing and just I was in prayer and worship, and my hand went in a particular way. I paused. I was like, "What did I just play?" And that progression of sound was so, it invokes something. Music is so spiritual. I you know, this thing, we can't talk about it as if, leave alone the playing for pastor, just music generally.
True.
That's why I'm saying that certain things we can't get into. We can't start talking about secular end, because there's too much spiritualism into this thing. We can't make them about feel good. But when we understand that, then we understand there are certain sounds that evoke the prophetic side of the Spirit of God, and there are certain, you see, the prophetic side of the Spirit, but the prophetic side of the atmosphere. Let me use that. Let me not say Spirit of God. There's certain sounds that will evoke healing in the atmosphere. There are certain sounds that will evoke holy anger. They evoke prophetic utterances. They evoke war. Same chords, just sound. We're talking sound here. So for someone to really do this, they really have to finish being a keyboard player, then begin to be a child of God. You get my point? You have to spend time. And let me tell you something, and I think this will be the first time I'm sharing this. Sometimes I'd play for Reverend Julian, and in those particular moments, in some unique moments, I would feel something has changed in the atmosphere. I cannot explain to you how, but I will know it's time to change. And I'll get some guidance. And so sometimes I'll be like just flowing, you know, talking preacher chords, pole, and then I will get it's time to switch prophetic. And I'll switch, and immediately he switches. You see that I cannot be rehearsed. I cannot sit with you here and tell you we had a moment. I do not know what he's preaching.
True.
Together the congregation we are hearing for the first time. I promise you there's no notes limit to me. I'll go I see those churches that you get notes. But the accuracy of how that happens mind blows me all the time. And and even beyond that, sometimes and I'm saying this is the first time I'm sharing this because no one has ever asked me this question this way. Like sometimes before I go to church, and then I'll feel. Let me give an example. Like I'm very just nimekuwa tu msick on Saturday. I'm unwell. And so in my mind, of course, I'm like, I can't make it to church tomorrow. Yeah. I need to find someone to just hold
it.
Right? And then something in me tells me, sasa kaka kitu kidogo utafanya utaenda kanisa. Put yourself together and go to church. Utaponea huko. Unajua? This is conversations in your head and you're like, but you can move. Tuende. Only to arrive to the church to find out that the pastor was in a similar state the previous night. They were unwell. And they were like kitu yake sasa ni serious, yeye hataenda kanisa. But akajiangalia sema no. Even if I am coughing and preaching, I will go. And so the two of us meet on that stage in the same previous. Do you understand that when I'm saying it's spiritual, I'll be here wondering. What I'm trying to tell you is this: is sometimes when you get into that element so much, you get to partially experience what they're gonna be experiencing, and you don't know. And I can give you so many instances. So that's where the Holy Spirit is teaching me this is more than your chords. In fact, it has nothing to do with your chords.
Completely nothing.
So I cannot sit here and say, I'm the person who plays for Reverend Julian without me. That's a lie. Because it is nothing to do with me.
True,
it's just me being obedient to what the Holy Spirit wants me to do in that moment. There's no unique chord I'm playing. True. Atele nililearn. Set in unique. It was just an interesting combination. It's just normal triads, normal. But the way my hand slipped into that combination, I was like, well, no more chords. So I guess that is more spiritual than
I get it.
So I think anyone who wants to, of course you need to know how to play the keyboard number one. I mean, you can't just appear there and then the Holy Spirit will teach you how to play. That won't happen. You need to know how to play. Now you subject it to God, and then you become we literally preach. I think that's the best I can say. Because by the time we are done, I am as tired. I am as exhausted. And I just played the sermon. I didn't do any song. But I'm exhausted. Why? How? It doesn't make sense. I was seated. So it's very spiritual. I think that's something I learned as I did this. And it's an interesting journey because I'm learning on the job. I've played for pastors before, but I don't think it was this deep. This is now deep. This is like, so I have to be prayerful. I have to be attentive. I have to be alert. I have to listen. I have to be on my toes, especially when I'm on stage. I cannot even just thinking about that burger that I can't. I'm attentive 100%. So it is. I feel it's a difficult thing to do more than playing the gigs. That's how I feel. It's easier for me to do a live recording than to play for the I feel that is so. It takes everything out of me.
True. Oh, amazing indeed. We thank God even for you also allowing God to use you in the different aspects, and also we always say to Watumishi, we give people their flowers while they are here. You've been doing, and you're really doing an amazing job.
Thank you,
in terms of every aspect that you're able to capture. And what captivates me is how you are figuring things out. That's one thing for me I'll leave out of this pod. Always thinking, how can't I figure it out on the other way around? I'm always figuring things my straight way, which is indeed amazing. So aside from Joe being a musician, what tickles your fancy apart from music? Let's say now Joe is out here. What is the other thing? Can I call it a hobby? Or can what do I call it?
If you take music out of this, you'll get a very negative version of me. Not negative in terms of bad, negative in terms of there's no percentage of match. Yeah, I think I'm heavily sold into this thing. Heavily. If I am not doing something related to music and production, I'm probably chilling at home, watching a movie, or hanging out with friends and stuff. So I don't really have much of my. I don't have much away from.
Yeah, okay.
Because my life is so
occupied in it.
Yeah, everything that I'm doing business-wise, hobby-wise, career-wise is music.
It's the same trajectory.
Yeah. So if I'm not doing music, I'm probably watching a movie, unwinding, or maybe date night with the wife, or hanging out with friends, makelele, or traveling somewhere. Just these things, those ones. That's pretty much what I'll be doing. Not what I'll be doing when I'm not doing anything related to music. And of course doing the corporate work of running a company, those management meetings, whatever. Yeah. So my life has those three facets. Yeah. I am I'm in my managerial role. What are we doing? Those kind of meetings and deliverables and targets and that. Once I'm done with that, I enter into my music phase. Everything that I'm doing from there is either meeting an artist, finishing a work, creating it's music, mixing a track, or arranging a song, or coming up with. Once I'm done with that, it's family time. So really, that's what I do. I don't think I have anything aside from that.
Last interesting question that you might not have pictured me asking you. What is your favorite food?
My goodness, do I have a favorite food?
Ile ukiamsha usiku hivi. Which food do you want on the table?
I'm a great lover of chapo. I'm a great lover of chapo so much. The ones that's cooked with malenge. Kuna zile unatengeneza na malenge. They just slap differently. I'm a great, but ironically, you'll be shocked. Napenda mchele na madondo na avocado.
Kuna kitu inafanyanga.
Your meal, I don't know. So it's been changing over time. I've been mfanya paka kasikia njaa. I've been a chapo guy, and then I don't know mchele na madondo lingilia wapi, but being a lunje, that ugali and that mboga with that kuku. Takes me home every day. So I don't think I have a specific. I think but it's only nimesema ndio hizo. Kachapo kamchele dondo na ama ugali kuku. Niko sawa.
Wow. Indeed amazing to just host a conversation with Joe Masterkeyz himself. And what a way to just end it. Umesikia mkimtafuta mkipatana na yeye hizo amamentionia zake.
Mnunue hizo.
Msiulize sana. So maybe lastly, even as we close out, maybe your social media handles, the platform that you are available. How can people get in touch with you in case they want to? And also Artville Studios, where is it located? If people maybe want a physical touch of it.
Okay. Right now we are relocating. So we're coming somewhere to Karen. So right now I cannot share that physical location of the studio. Maybe I'm hoping to have opened the space end of June. End of June I hope we'll be up and running. Hopefully everything would have been finished. So my handles are just Joe Masterkeyz. I think Facebook, IG. Do I even use Twitter? I think my name is there somewhere. TikTok. I just opened it. Me ni millennial. Some of these things. Yes, I think recently opened TikTok, but Joe Masterkeyz everywhere. My website, my Joe Masterkeyz.
Wow, indeed a privilege and an honor to have you on the pod, gracing our pod.
Thank you so much.
It has been indeed an amazing time, an eye-opener. I believe even everyone who is watching will be able to get the nuggets. The different things. Take yours, enda fanya kazi, work on it, build your craft to the best. Thank you for coming on the pod.
It's an honor to be here.
So ladies and gentlemen, until next time, adios.